Welcome back, friends, to the Food Freedom Podcast. I'm your coach, your host, Coach Mary Roberts. And with this podcast, my goal is to do my best to bring you real talk about recovering from food addiction and disordered eating. And I like to have us get honest about what it actually takes to break free from food addiction. So once again, I'm out on my walk enjoying the morning light and just getting some movement to start my day. It's how I like to start my day. And so I got to I've been thinking about this for a while. So today's episode is for the person who's in that, thinking about it stage, the person who's wanting to feel better, you want to lose weight, you're hoping for it, maybe even praying for it, but you haven't fully accepted what recovery really is going to ask and require of you. So I'm going to start out with a hard truth, and I might hurt some feelings today. I acknowledge that. I'm sorry. When we are dealing with Ed, who is, cunning, baffling, and powerful, Ed kind of hijacks our emotions. And when something stings, it's usually for a reason. So here's the hard truth. Recovery does not just happen. You are likely, not going to flip a switch and then just suddenly get after it. That's not how it works. Recovery is not going to fall out of the sky and into your lap just because you want it. It's not going to happen by osmosis. It's not going to happen because you downloaded a guide or hired a coach or, binge listened to a bunch of, eating disorder podcasts, even this one. Things like eggs and sardine fasts, 7-day or 30-day challenges aren't it either. Okay, there's no shiny new object or pill or potion or shot that's going to change your relationship with food. That's just not going to happen. Recovery happens because you're willing to do the work, and that's it. And I know it isn't what most people want to hear, and a lot of people don't understand, what exactly is the work. But so first, let me go back to this. Wanting it isn't enough, okay? I totally get it. You want to be free. You want to stop obsessing about food. And, you don't want to be waking up first thing in the morning and food is the first thing you think about. Okay? I know you want to look better. You want to feel better. You want to not feel like you're living under the weight of this addiction every single day. But wanting it is not the same as working for it. And, you can wish for freedom all day long, but until you start, showing up for yourself, that's all it is. It's just a wish. You can think about recovery constantly, but unless you are taking action, nothing's going to change. And, the truth is many of us, this was me for years, right? But many of you want an easy way that doesn't feel hard, that's going to bring results quick, that doesn't take too much effort, and that has an end date where everything is finished and then you can just coast through life, never to have a worry about your weight again or food, right? That's like this fantasy. But the hard truth is that recovery is going to require you to take action. And so let me walk you through what doing the work actually looks like in real life. Okay, so first, it means spilling your guts, okay? And I tell my clients and people that go through my program, they have a journal. It's a required part of my program. So you have to spill your guts into your journal, even when it's painful and it hurts. You got to answer the hard questions. You have to face the stuff that you've buried under binge eating and emotional eating for most of your life. And it means being willing to grieve. Yes, grieve the loss of your old coping mechanisms, your favorite drug foods, the identity that you've had with food as your go-to, And it also means showing up when it's not convenient, when it's uncomfortable, when you're tired or frustrated or mad about how hard this feels. You show up anyway. That's what a commitment to recovery looks like. It means letting someone see you like a coach, the good, the bad, the ugly, and being willing to be held accountable. Not just, cheering you on when you're doing great, but calling you in when you start to drift back towards your addiction. And it means also following a roadmap, a program, not just winging it, not just hoping your brain is going to rewire on its own. You have to be very intentional about changing the patterns, creating new habits, and doing the dirty and often painful work that requires, that requires you to change. The work that rewires the reward loops in your brain. And so, here's a caution. Hiring a coach isn't the work, okay? Doing the work is the work. Hiring the coach is just one of the steps, okay? So I'm going to be real with you for a second here. Some people think that if they just hire the coach or join a group or an exciting looking challenge or program that's short term, or they get access to some, miracle, magical resources, that the transformation is just going to happen. And also you have to understand that coaches are not miracle workers, and it's our job to provide you with a track to run on, encouragement, guidance, but it's not our job to drag you kicking and screaming towards your goal. And if you cop an attitude or blame your coach for doing the things you hired them to do, that's a red flag on your part, and it shows that you're not being coachable. And that said, I understand there are some terrible coaches. There's terrible coaches out there who don't engage, who just throw a cookie cutter meal plan or macros and workouts at you and try to use like positive thinking and affirmations, and they give you like these inspiring little pep talks and, pat you on the head and send you on your way. Okay. But so anyway, just hiring a coach is not going to be enough. Here's an experience that I've had with people coming into my program. And it isn't just me in my program. This is a universal problem with coaches and their programs all over the world, okay? Because people are people. And that is, a person will come into the program and then they half-ass it. They kind of, sort of do it. They kind of, sort of show up. So like with my program, there's work involved that you have to be very intentional about. My program was I created it so that you could design your life of food sobriety. It's not cookie cutter. It's not eat this, don't eat that. It's not do this, don't do that. It's very personal, but only if you are doing it the way it was intended to be done. So my coaching is very, it's intense. That's the word I like to use, but it's high touch, where clients get access to me every day, which there's a lot of coaches out there who don't offer that. There's some people who pay tens of thousands of dollars and they don't even get access to the coach whose name is on the program. They get schlepped off to a team of coaches, and that's not the kind of coach that I am. Okay. When you sign up for my coaching program, you get me, but you also get a very detailed, intentional program, a course with all the important components needed to start getting well. So there's reading, there's videos, and there's a discussion forum, and there is journaling, and it's a daily commitment, and it's 6 months minimum also, because this is serious work for a serious problem. And it's not something that's going to be resolved by me throwing you a little PDF and us exchanging emails for 30 days. That's no good. And so anyway, there's always going to be people who don't do it fully for a multitude of reasons. They'll either skim the reading, or they'll skip the videos, or they'll skip the journaling. They're not consistent in doing the lessons or showing up for calls. They're just all over the place. They don't apply what they're learning. They don't reach out when they're struggling. And if they even learn anything, because it's hard to learn when you're not following, as it's intended to be followed, and then they say things like, well, this isn't working for me. Well, of course it isn't, because you're not doing the work. You're just pretending to do the work. You can't kind of sort of do it. Or what you get is kind of sort of results. You cannot skip shit and then be disappointed that things aren't changing for you. Of course they aren't changing because you are not changing. So coaching can absolutely guide you. A roadmap or a meaty program can support you. Accountability can, most certainly fuel your progress, but none of those things will do the work for you. Okay, you still have to show up for yourself. You have to choose recovery every single day. You have to pursue your food sobriety every day, not perfectly, but consistently, right? You must be intentional if you really want to get free from the scourge of food addiction and the disordered eating patterns that are keeping you stuck. And, if you do the work, you will finally reach the goals that you dream about. So let me just say that the outcome is worth it. Doing the work is worth it, because the outcome is freedom, freedom from the obsession. The outcome for those who need it will be weight loss, and maybe finally wearing the little black dress or the cute jeans that you've dreamed about, or getting the haircut that you've been afraid to get. Maybe it's being a normal weight so that you can ride a roller coaster or go on a zip line and feel comfortable about it, or do, other physical activities that you've been missing out on. Maybe finally, doing life instead of like pooping out, or having a fear of injuring yourself from doing something. What about the fear of falling down and not being able to get up because you are obese and not strong enough to get yourself up off the ground? The outcome of doing the work can also look like not needing that seatbelt extender on an airplane, or being able to walk up a flight of stairs without feeling like you're going to have a heart attack, or going through the humiliation of buying the next size up because even now your fat pants are too small. Okay? Doing the work is what will get you closer to the life that you've been dreaming about, the life that you fantasize about, wearing the dream outfit and feeling accomplished. That's just a small taste of what the work will get you. It's waking up without that drug food fog, hanging over your head and feeling like a weight on your chest. It's being able to walk through your kitchen or drive past the fast food place without your drug foods calling your name. It's going to bed without guilt, shame, or regret eating you alive. Okay, this is about getting your life back. And that doesn't happen by accident or by half-assing your way through the work and just picking and choosing the stuff that doesn't feel like too much effort. It's letting your pride go and admitting that it's too much for you to do by yourself. So just here's some of my final thoughts, and then I'll stop going on and on. So if you've been stuck, in the trap of thinking about recovery or wishing it would happen, I want you to let this episode be a wake-up call for you. You don't have to do it perfectly. You just have to do it on purpose, with intention. You can start today. You can open up a journal. You can start speaking your truth. You can grieve the losses, whatever those are. You can follow the plan. You show up for yourself, and you do the damn work. You are capable of it. You are worthy of it. And you are not by yourself in the wilderness. Okay? So if this episode hit home for you, share it with someone who needs to hear this truth too, And if you're ready to just stop wanting and wishing for recovery and actually start doing it, come find me. My coaching programs are here to guide you, but you also have to decide to show up. You show up for your life. So until next time, keep going, because food freedom is possible, and it's waiting on the other side of your willingness to do the work.